modern classics.
What's good, YouTube? What's good, Twitch? We back. It's RegGamingTV, and we're gonna start with a video that I was gonna start. Man, I have so many videos that I was supposed to watch over the last week, and I didn't watch them. Well, last 2 weeks actually. So we're gonna start with this is the new king of bad isekai. I hope I pronounced that right. By Gigguk, I guess. This man has 3.46 million subs, so obviously he's known. I don't know him because I never watched any of his videos before, so this is gonna be the first one I ever watched. But on to the video.
Blah blah, Gigguk likes isekai.
I am shocked.
I want you to cast your mind back for a bit.
What the fuck?
No, wait, too far. It's summer holiday in 8th grade and you've just discovered anime. Mirai Nikki is close to peak. Akame got killed was the most tragic thing you'd ever seen.
Akame got killed literally had me in a bad mood in real life. Like, I went to like school when I watched the anime. I'm trying to think, was I still in college? Yeah, I think I was still in college. Yeah, I think I was going to class, and I definitely know I was at work when I was working at Carrabba's. I definitely know I was pissed the fuck off for like at least 2 days because of that ending. I'm not gonna spoil it. Fuck it. If you never watched Akame got killed, spoiler alert. Everybody fucking dies. Damn near everybody dies. I don't understand the show was about Akame technically, but the show didn't even really follow her. It followed the main character, which was the dude that came from the small village that wanted to go to the big city and become like a hero or like a knight or some shit. Fam, that shit was so fucking turnt, and then it ended the way it ended. I'm like, yo, fuck this show. To this day, I still kind of feel conflicted about the ending. I mean, I get it, but nah, fuck that.
That scene.
Maybe I should have read the manga, and then maybe it would have been a little bit better, but still. Hold on, I'll be right back. Alright, it's a little bit better. Alright, be back.
Where Kirito gets his second sword and shouts out, Starburst or Streamer! What?
I also really liked fucking Sword Art Online, like a lot of people, but I mean, it started getting weird halfway through the first season, and then all the good shit in the first season, like the first half of the first season, was basically the entire premise of the lore of the show. And once they got out of that first game, which was Sword Art Online, and they moved on to Alfheim or whatever the next game was, where his little girlfriend got trapped in the game after Sword Art Online went offline. Yeah, that was the beginning of the end for that show for me. I think I watched all of the second season. I might have, was it a third season? I think there was a third season. I think definitely was a third season. I don't remember if I watched that or not. And obviously I didn't watch anything after that, but yeah, that show fell the fuck off. Never watched My Hero.
Was the goddamn coolest thing you'd ever seen? Because of course it was. You were 13. Everything was cool. You didn't care about character development. You didn't think about story structure. You heard a quote like, I'm a gamer. Not because I don't have a life, but because... Sorry. But because I choose to have many. And you thought to yourself, damn.
That is a very loser response, I'm not even gonna lie. That is really bad.
Damn. That's deep. I'm a gamer. Were you cringe? Hell yeah you were, but you know what? You enjoyed yourself, and
I'm still cringing to this fucking day.
That's what's important, even if you can look back and think, God, what was I thinking? But what happens when you find a show that stops trying to run away from that cringe? It embraces the cringe, distills the cringe, knuckles down and envelops you in the edge-fest, high-intensity, full-blown world of cringe you thought you'd grown past and refuses to apologize about it.
I need more power.
You get the Eminence and Shadow. Anime has been absolutely killing it lately.
What in the fuck was that dub voice?
2022 was not only full of surprises, but shows that push the boundary of anime. Modern classics that stamps their mark on the scene and will stick with us for years to come. Eminence and Shadow? It's not one of those shows. This is every 14-year-old teenage angsty fantasy turned up to 11. It's edgy. It's horny. It might well just be the new king of trashy isekai, and it's by far the most goddamn fun I've had in the genre for years. ReZero, Slime, Mushoku Tensei, all brilliant shows we've gotten in the past few years that absorb you into that intricate world and have shown us how truly great isekai can be. If these 3 shows are the 3-star Michelin meals of isekai, this is Eminence and Shadow. And this is me.
Oh god.
But how did Eminence and Shadow get me to embrace
the fact that people watch it like that still, like, not impresses me, but shocks the little shit out of me. Because I'm like, why would you want to watch somebody devour, like, not even just like regularly eat shit, just devour their fucking food as fast as humanly possible? Like, we're speed running meals, not a regular meal though, but like the absolute fucking most. Like, how much food does man have? This man had two 10 pieces, so 20 nuggets, 5 open sauces for what reason? Is that a McChicken? And then 2 double quarter pounders.
But how did Eminence and Shadow get me to embrace the cringe? Gigguk, do you fantasize about getting hit by a truck? Is this another case of me having isekai brain rot? No, okay, I haven't forgotten what good anime is. I still remember my best of 2022 anime list. I still remember Chainsaw Man. Speaking of which, Chainsaw Man itself is having a collaboration with today's sponsor, Nikkei.
Cool.
That's right, this video is sponsored by Nikkei, and we're working with them this month to let you all know about the hottest crossover this year, as Nikkei and Chainsaw Man are working together for the first time. That's right, Chainsaw Man's most popular female characters are joining the Nikkei roster. Nikkei is an immersive sci-fi RPG featuring casual arcade shooter gameplay, and you can now recruit Power, Himeno, and most importantly, Makima to join your ultimate gun-wielding waifu team. The girls in Tokyo Division 4 have been seen in Nikkei's world through the Gatekeeper's dreams, which is very fitting, as Makima has crept into my dreams more than just a few times these last few months.
So is this like a waifu shooter? I'm assuming.
Nikkei has given Makima, Power, and Himeno their own newly designed unique weapons that are different from the anime itself. Not only that, but during battle you'll be able to witness their elaborate skill cuts closely duplicated from Chainsaw Man, to a level never before seen in the game prior to this collaboration. That's not all though, as Nikkei itself now has a PC version available so you can play on a larger screen for more immersive gameplay, as well as new adapted controls for a more traditional mouse and keyboard shooting experience. Of course, there's cross-platform support between PC and mobile for access to convenient idle gameplay, freeing up your phone to scroll through pictures of Makima while you play Nikkei. So, what are you waiting for? Head to the link in the description to download the game today to experience the Nikkei and Chainsaw Man collaboration in all its glory. Thank you to Nikkei for sponsoring me today, and back to the video. I know what you're thinking, but look, it's been 1 whole year since my last isekai video on this channel, and the tax has to be paid. White girls have true crime, Gigguk has bull.
Man said white girls got true crime. I mean, he is speaking facts, but that is just... You didn't have to call him out like that. He ain't have to do all that.
Bullshit isekai, but contrary to popular belief, I don't just blindly recommend every trashy isekai that airs every season. And before you go, yo, that's cap, this is my face when I'm saying it. Look at this serious face. Do you see how deathly serious I am taking this? I would never mislead you on something like this. This is a show that won't go down as a...
Bro, that's Ace I mean right here. That's his crib. If you know, you know.
This is a show that won't go down as a classic of anime. It doesn't have a lot in common with the isekai greats like Mushoku Tensei. Eminence and Shadow is edgy, self-serving. You see what happens in it and it's like...
Damn,
well, see, Mushoku Tensei is
no
more
hesi-
like... The plot goes like this. Sid Kagano is a man obsessed with... But unfortunately, he gets hit by a truck and dies. Reborn in a fantasy world, he continues his pursuit of power. And a secret organization, Shadow Guard, so begins the story. I give up. The big issue I've had when trying to talk about the show to anyone is that as soon as I open my mouth to explain anything that happens, I instantly lose anyone listening, because everything that comes out of my mouth sounds fucking stupid. Because it is fucking stupid. The main point of this show is that Sid makes up the most dumb, convoluted, fanfiction.net, Tumblr-ass plot developments he can think up on the spot and it turns out to be true. The man has no investment in the people around him and what's going on. He's just role-playing his perfect isekai power fantasy story, and everyone in the world is forced to dance to his tune.
So he just has a bunch of just chicks following him around because.
On one side, he's Shadow, incarnation of vengeance, entity of the night, slayer of pussy. The man fucks without losing his virginity because he never loses. Shadow is a man who based their entire personality over listening to My Chemical Romance once. This is what people who shopped at Hot Topics saw in their mind's eye. Shadow is the type of guy who would say,
"You know why they call it the Dead Sea?
Why?
'Cause I killed it."
But on the flip side, he's plain old Sid Kageno, a guy devoted to being an invisible background
Not the Pokemon music in the background.
character who won't stand out, won't attract attention, chasing his dream to be the ultimate real-life NPC, which...
Hey guys, I'm in New York City just hanging out.
Yo. If I saw that, like, behind me while I'm recording a video, I would be fucking shook.
Honestly, isn't that hard to do nowadays? The thing is, he will refuse to break character no matter what, and I really mean no matter what. His sister gets kidnapped and tortured, his school is the target of a terrorist attack, there are classmates getting murdered around him left and right, and the first thing that goes through his mind is, alright boys, it's NPC time. How can I give myself the most pathetic death possible? As Shadow, he will literally commit to robbing a grand piano only to transport it to an underground cave so he can ominously play it with the lights beaming down for the ultimate edgelord look. The man is more dedicated to his role than Jake Paul is to playing an asshole. He could give Daniel Day-Lewis a run for his money in his commitment to method acting. Oh, okay, so this is like a parody of Isekai? Kinda. Comedy is subjective. Is a phrase people use when they're about to say they don't find something funny. Eminence and Shadow has some decent jokes here and there, though it can be hit or miss. Sometimes it'll do this thing where it will spell out this overused trope and pass it off as a joke, which is something I've always despised, but sometimes it can play around with our expectations in amusing ways. We've all watched that scene where the main character accidentally goes in the hot spring, sees the girl, she goes, "Yeah, hentai!" Gets
Yo, that is a very, very, very common theme throughout anime. I don't understand why that's like, maybe because people like it, I guess, or they feel like we do, or there's some type of research behind it, but yeah, that shit is used a lot.
gets angry, blah blah blah.
Except for like, actually, it happened in Dragon Ball. Kinda, yeah, it happened in Dragon Ball.
Alright, here's what happens with Sid. Barges into hot spring.
I was gonna say shonens, but yeah, it happened in Dragon Ball. Almost, it kind of happened in Yu-Gi-Oh!
It's the girl's hot spring. Doesn't acknowledge the girl. Flexes his pee-pee. Refuses to elaborate further. Leaves. This is a show that is not afraid to play around with tropes.
Yeah, the sexual harassment that goes on that just gets overlooked is kind of crazy. Like, man just showed his whole dick to just some random chick
we're familiar with and subvert our expectations to varying degrees of success. But what I found more impressive, and a hell of a lot more amusing, is how hard it commits to its own bullshit act. It makes fun of itself while doubling down, tripling down, quadrupling the fuck down on all the cheesy, cringe-ass moments we roll our eyes at in your typical trashy power fantasy isekai. Beyond being a straight-up parody,
Yo, he didn't do the rock.
we
He
roll our
didn't
eyes
just do the
at
rock
in your
leg.
typical trashy power fantasy isekai. Beyond
my
being a
God.
straight up parody, it's just entirely self-aware. You find yourself not taking the show too seriously, then end up being completely invested in all the dumb shit that ends up happening. They say that love and hate are two halves of the same coin, but Eminence and Shadow proves that the exact same thing is true with cringe and cool. Because what happens when you take all those cringe scenes that would only appeal to an edgy 13-year-old, distill it, rev up the stupidity to 100, does it somehow become cool again? This is what Eminence and Shadow asks, and I think there's one scene that encapsulates everything this show is about. So if you don't want to be spoiled for episode 5, just skip ahead. Sid has always been obsessed with becoming powerful. In his past life, he was already pretty OP. The man dedicated himself to being Batman without all the fancy gadgets. He had trained enough to take down any thug he encountered. But so what? No matter how much a mortal can train, there are still limits to what you can achieve. What if you went up against a
everybody has
firing
limits.
squad? What if someone dropped a nuclear bomb on you? No matter how much you develop your muscles, hone your mind, perfected your skills, if someone comes along with a nuclear bomb, you'd be instantly vaporized. Or so he thought. Because, reincarnated in a new world, he refused to give up on his dream. There was still a height he had yet to attain. So, after years upon years of training, he arrived at but a single solution. That's right. If I don't want to be vaporized by a nuclear explosion, I must simply become the nuke.
Damn, quick touch shit. Man, just destroyed half of the fucking city.
What the fuck did I just watch? What is this? Why did he say atomic in Times New Roman?
He said it in Times New Roman. It's stupid. He did say that shit mad weird.
Why is this so entertaining? This doesn't try to differentiate itself from a typical power fantasy isekai. This fully commits to being the power fantasy isekai, then goes 10 steps further beyond what is necessary. He is stupidly OP. He's never in any real danger. He'll say cringe lines and pass them off as the coolest thing ever said. You think other isekai protagonists specialize in having their own harem? Well, not only does every influential figure happen to be a cute girl who of course ends up falling for him, but he's goddamn built an entire shadow organization with 0 boys allowed. Alpha, Beta, Gamma, Delta, Epsilon, Eta, Zeta, Sigma. The man's
Why did you
Alpha,
put Sigma
Beta,
like that?
Gamma, Delta, Epsilon, Eta, Zeta, Sigma.
Yeah, with the Chad face.
The man's created his own harem institute of hundreds, not dozens, hundreds of superpowered waifus that end up amassing so much wealth and power that they end up influencing the world stage. And he did this by complete accident. But the best part of all this is having to see everyone in the world take Sid's bullshit role-playing 100% seriously. This is a fully functioning fantasy.
Yeah, because, I mean, he might be cringe and edgy. Oh, yeah, try to be edgy. But in their world, this man's badass. Can't do shit about him. You gotta take him serious because you can't beat him. So.
Land, with nations vying for power, secret organizations manipulating the global politics. Characters are in a life or death struggle to defend the homeland they so love, and then along comes this dude. Countries pour their resources into figuring out what exactly is Shadow Garden, who's in it, what do they want, what are their goals and motivations, how does their presence affect the world? And meanwhile, Sid's just there like, hehe, Shadow Man say power. Everyone is playing Game of Thrones while Sid is playing Dungeons and Dragons, except he is every dungeon master's worst nightmare. Someone who just makes shit up as he goes along, breaks every rule of the game, ignores the big shiny thing that is shouting, "This is the plot!" but is incapable of rolling anything but nat 20. And so everything he ends up doing has real consequences to the world around him. A lot of people have compared this to Overlords, but I think this is actually closer to Isekai One Punch Man, and I'm gonna be honest, part of the reason I'm making this video is because I'm
Yeah, I could see how you could compare this to One Punch Man. I don't think One Punch Man isn't as cringy, but yeah, I can see how you can do it.
praying that this doesn't stop at just 2 seasons. Yeah, I'm excited to get more of the Isekai greats, but for the love of God, give me 5 more double Big Mac meals of this, please. Eminence and Shadow is a series that should not work, but somehow it does. This is what happens when every single person working on an anime absolutely understands the assignment. It's a series which gives absolutely 0 fucks in being cringy, edgy, or childish. Sid is a man who laughed so hard it became reality, but the more you watch, the more you get sold on his bullshit. It throws at you every trope, every cliche, every eye-rolling corny line you've ever heard in your life, and you end up eating that shit up like it's the first time you've ever seen an anime. This is what happens.
Hold on.
In your life, and you end up
Okay. That's how many pills this man takes.
eating that shit.
Okay. I see.
Every
That was a wild reverse.
cliche, every eye-rolling corny line you've ever heard in your life, and you end up eating that shit
Alright. There's 5 pills coming out right now, and then there's 2 still in the bottle.
up.
Looks like he ingests 2, and 3 fall on the floor, and he's still got 2 in the bottle. So you wasted
Like it's the
3
first
pills.
time you've ever seen
Oh, wait, he dropped 2 more. So he wasted 5 out of 7 pills. He only took 2.
an anime. This is what happens when you reach the peak of trashy, entertaining isekai, and I don't know what more it can do to reach even greater heights.
I don't want to be the last boss. I want to be the one in the story who operates from the shadows. The Eminence and Shadow.
Okay, now it's perfect. Hey guys. What the fuck was that? Hey guys, hope you enjoyed that video. Thank you very much this month
Man
to
choked on
Alpha
his
Sigma,
goodbye.
Author Curtis Eckstein, Basil, Dysfunctional Degenerate, Flabberwocky, Ivido, Lavados, Mikasa12315, Kane Patchett, Pony Stark, Watergeist VT, and everyone else on my Patreon for helping to support me for this month and making this video possible. Yes guys.
Alright. That looks like it's the end of it, so we're gonna call that right there. And that was This is the New King of Bad Isekai by Gigguk. I hope I pronounced your name right, bro. But gonna throw him a like and maybe just a subscription. We'll come back to his channel one day. Check out to see if there's something else that I could watch from him.